Now, Lil Xan doesn't even like Xans. Now, by this time, you most likely know who Lil Xan is. To put it simply, Lil Xan has been taking the internet by storm. Lil Xan has a song titled Betrayed that put Xan on the map, and he has another song titled Far that's also been getting a lot of attention in the music world. But there is also something else about Lil Xan that has been getting a lot of attention that doesn't really have to do with his music, and that is his name. So, right now in hip-hop, the whole Xanax epidemic is getting bigger and bigger. Rappers are practically popping Xanax like multivitamins, and it's not looking too good. And recently, we even saw a young man that goes by the name of Lil Peep lose his life due to this drug, and in that situation, it was laced Xanax. But I even made a video about this whole topic, and that video did extremely well. A lot of people seem to agree with what I was saying because, quite frankly, everyone is tired of seeing young people lose their life because they decided to pop Xanax when it could have been avoided so easily. But how does Lil Xan play a part in this whole topic? Now, just looking at his name and not really knowing anything about Lil Xan, you would think that Lil Xan is pro Xanax. And this is a mistake that I made a couple weeks ago when I made my video about the whole Xanax epidemic. So let's check out the flashback. The Xanax culture in hip-hop is just getting bigger and bigger, and we've even gotten to the point where there's even a rapper called Lil Xan. Soon, we're definitely gonna have rappers that go by the name of Lil Overdose because it's definitely getting crazy out here. Now, as you can see, I didn't really do my proper research on Lil Xan. I just decided to judge him because I didn't really know any better. And I'm not gonna lie, his name kind of fooled me, of course. I assumed that just because his name is Lil Xan, he has to be popping Xanax and promoting it, right? So if you've listened to his music, then you know that he's actually against Xans. On his song Betrayed, he has an entire hook about basically not doing Xans. And he has another song called Slingshot where he says the same thing very clearly. And Lil Xan has also made it very clear that he does not mess with Xanax in interviews.
Well, my brand Xanarchy is an anti-Xan movement, so that in its own is like, stop taking Xans. Like, Xans are bad. It's just at the end of the day.
And he's also tweeted about it multiple times in the past. I am not surprised that Lil Xan has to make it extremely clear that he's not a supporter of the drug Xanax. The impulse to judge Lil Xan and assume that he supports Xanax because his name is Lil Xan is understandable. Just like you would probably judge a rapper that goes by the name of Lil Garbage. Because if his name is Lil Garbage, then he can't really be good, right? Of course, the name is the first thing that we kind of see and kind of connect with, so it's really understandable that the judgment is gonna come upon the name. But some of Lil Xan's older music have references about him popping Xanax, but Lil Xan himself says the whole thing is a journey. It's not like, oh, Xan made a song a long time ago embracing Xanax. He's a liar. They can see my journey unfold. And then Lil Xan continues and says, many months ago I was going through that, and that's how things were up until Betrayed. Now, my favorite word by the way, they can see where it started, what happened, and where I am now. I thought maybe I should delete those tracks, but then I was like, I should leave them up for that purpose solely. Well said, Lil Xan, very well said. But the story behind Xan's name is simple. He was out with one of his friends one day, and they were in a liquor store when his friend said that he was gonna start calling him Lil Xan because of course he was off the Xans at that moment. Some people may say that it's extremely hypocritical of Lil Xan to call himself a name like that and then go around and tell the world that they shouldn't do the drug. Now I do see the perspective of that argument, but at the same time I really can't agree with that kind of logic. One thing I realize about Lil Xan is that he's extremely genuine about not really doing Xans. He used to be on Xans and he used to do them, but now that he has matured a little bit, he's probably realizing the position he's in and that it's really not gonna do him any good. And all of this can simply be put in one word: maturing. Lil Xan went through the journey of popping Xans and kind of seeing that life, but then he realized that it's not for him. And the only difference between Lil Xan and a quote-unquote normal person is that the normal person is not a public figure. And that normal person not being a public figure means that the normal person's actions don't really get documented by millions of people. But Lil Xan's mistakes do get documented by millions of people. So in the future, one of the issues that Lil Xan is gonna have in his career is people pulling him back to his past, because it's been documented that Lil Xan used to talk about popping Xans. His rap name as of now is Lil Xan, and that's what people recognize him for. Because I've even seen Lil Xan go on Twitter and talk about how he in the future wants to change his rap name to Diego, which is his real name. And even me, who absolutely hates Xanax, I don't even think that he should change his name, because the name Lil Xan is a part of Lil Xan. It's what people recognize him for. It's the path that he has walked as a person. And as crazy crazy as it might sound, that's the whole beauty behind the name Lil Xan. It's really not because I think that the word Xan is beautiful, but because there's beauty in the struggle, like J. Cole says. And that's the whole story of Lil Xan as a person and as a human being. He used to struggle with the drug Xanax, and now he's off them, and now he has matured. Now if you don't know, Lil Xan has a very young fan base, and I know that because I've seen the type of demographic that he attracts on social media. But the thought of kids actually popping Xanax just because they got inspired by his name for some reason is not even something that enters my head. Because there's rappers like Lil Pump who purposely promotes Xanax and tells his fans that Xanax is the new wave. But just because of that, we haven't seen anything on the news about how thousands of kids are dying from Xanax overdose, have we? Now I'm absolutely not saying that it doesn't happen, because it definitely does, unfortunately. But if teenagers taking Xanax and passing away was such a big problem, then you would most likely hear about it on the news constantly. So the point I'm trying to make is, yes, Lil Xan's rap name is Lil Xan, but just because that's his name, that doesn't automatically mean that people are gonna be inspired by him and just blindly pop Xans. Now let's look at it from this perspective. So Lil Xan is blowing up right now, like really blowing up. I won't even be surprised if Lil Xan is on the XXL cover, because he does have one really strong hit song that's absolutely killing it right now, and that's of course Betrayed. And he has a very strong fan base, which is pretty crazy if you think about it, considering he started blowing up around August/September time. But people finding out about Lil Xan is inevitable since he is getting extremely big. Now instead of just thinking his name obviously contains the word Xan and that's automatically gonna start making people do Xans, or pop Xans I should say, why don't we look at it from the perspective of at least the awareness about Xanax is growing? Which, if you take a look at that objectively, it's really nothing but a good thing, because now people at least know about it. They see an artist like Lil Xan whose name is directly associated with Xanax, they might make the mistake and assume that he's promoting the drug, which I did by the way, and then realize that he's really anti-Xanax. So the conversation about Xanax is being started because we have a rapper called Lil Xan. And think about it, Lil Xan is really opening up the door for a lot of people to talk about Xans, because thousands of people, if not even millions of people, are finding out about his music every day. And now because people associate his name with the drug Xanax, that opens up the door for a whole new group of people to talk about Xanax and start a discussion about Xanax. Now the good thing about the situation is that Lil Xan is going out of his way to say that he's not a supporter of Xanax, because he realizes that the power that he holds is really influential. And meanwhile, the awareness about the drug is growing, people are finding out about the drug, and if you do have some common sense along with Lil Xan telling you not to do the drug, the decision that you make is, okay, I won't do it. But of course, we don't really live in a perfect world, and that's only the best case scenario. And the worst case scenario is that thousands of kids start popping Xanax because they got inspired by Lil Xan's name, which is most likely not gonna happen. So in this whole controversy of Lil Xan's name, we do land in the middle. We can't expect that just because his name is Lil Xan, people will automatically go crazy, disregard common sense, and wash down pills just because they hear about Lil Xan. But at the same time, we can't either expect that there's not gonna be cases of people finding out about the drug, especially younger kids. And of course, they are fans of Lil Xan, and since it's more the younger audience of Lil Xan that I'm concerned about, there's a chance that some of them might actually try it. So that's the whole balance in this situation. But I don't really have all the answers since I'm only one person with one perspective. But I want to hear what you have to say about this topic. What do you think about this whole controversy of Lil Xan's name? Do you think that Lil Xan's name is gonna influence people to try the drug because of his name? Or do you think that that's absolutely not gonna happen? Definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion about this. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This channel is all about bringing together people like you who enjoy music and start a discussion on different topics like this. And of course, like the video if you enjoyed it, follow me on Twitter at BlackySpeakz, and I'm out.